Hi guys, welcome to our daily encounter. In our reading today in the life of Jesus in Matthew 22, we have the Lord being asked, what is the greatest commandment? And Jesus says, you shall love the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul and with all your mind. Loving God is the highest and greatest commandment. And it's important for us to understand what this means because, if this is the greatest commandment, surely we need to understand what this means. And perhaps the best way to understand what it means is first to understand what it does not mean, at least not by itself. It doesn't mean mere sentimentality. It doesn't mean just simply having a warm heart towards God, just saying words of love to God, and just having some type of emotional type of love for the Lord. Although it might include that, it's not limited to that. This word for love means that you sacrifice yourself for the benefit of another person. It's the same word that is used by or used in John 3:16, where it says, for God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten son. And so a great definition of how that word in the original is used by God himself is that it's someone who gives up something that's valuable to themselves for the benefit of another person. It's putting another person first and being willing to sacrifice in doing so. And so when we put this verse in that context, we could say that to love God is really to be willing to sacrifice for him and to put his interests above our own. Yes, we ought to have an emotional bond with God, a tender love for the Lord, for all that he's done for us, and have that deep abiding relationship type love for God. We won't deny that, but it shouldn't be just limited to that. Because what might happen is that on Sunday morning, we go to the Lord, or we go to worship the Lord, and we sing songs about how I love Jesus, and we sing songs about loving the Lord, loving God, and we might think that suffices, that as long as my heart is warm, as long as I have an emotional experience thinking about how great God is, that is enough. And then go out and live our lives in such a way that we're putting ourselves first, and we're not really loving the Lord because we're loving ourselves more than the Lord, and we're really just trying to satisfy our own appetites and our own desires above God's desires. And therefore, with our lips, we were saying that we love the Lord, and maybe we have some type of sentimental connection to God, but we're not allowing that to flow out into our lives to where we really put into practice what this word means. And that means to, be willing to sacrifice for God, to be able to put ourselves aside for the sake of God, and to put our desires aside for his. And so hopefully this will give us some perspective as we think about this verse, and to say, I'm going to love the Lord. Yes, I'm going to have a heart that's fond of God, and that loves God and adores God in an emotional way and in a sentimental way. Yes, that's good and that's healthy, but I'm not going to stop there. I'm also going to have a heart of love for the Lord that leads me to sacrifice for him, and to lay down my life for him, and to put his interests above my own. And hopefully we'll be inspired to do that as we do a reading today. And with that, guys, I do thank you for watching the video today. Hope you guys have a great day. Love you guys. God bless.